All right, great. Paul has joined us. Good afternoon, Paul. How you doing?
Hi, good afternoon, bro. How you doing?
I'm
Good
good. I'm
weekend.
good. Thank you. Are you going to share your video with us, or you rather
Okay,
not do that?
let me do that. Let me do that.
Yeah,
I'm not
please,
used
please. Yeah, I know, I know.
to Zoom. Okay,
Uh,
continue. Uh, how do you start video? Okay, this.
yes,
Yeah. Can you
yes,
see?
yes, yes, yes. We can all see you. Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all
Good
right.
afternoon.
I'm all right.
Sorry, I got in like few minutes
Yeah,
later than I was.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, great then. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Rise Investment Club meeting for the month of June. We usually have these meetings during the last Saturdays of every month, and the purpose of these meetings really is to gather as a community, um, and have a discussion around a certain topic, with the aim to deliver something insightful that we can all think about and take actionable steps towards making our finances better. Sometimes we do this meetings in-house. Paul, this is your first time with us as a guest. So
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes we do these meetings in-house, but some other times we have, guests. Just the reason why guests are important for some of these meetings is just to share that experience, so from your own perspective, really. Grant is asking if this session is on record. Yes, it is. This is being recorded. This is going to be shared on our YouTube. If you're on the investment club on Telegram, this is also going to be shared. The link is also going to be shared there. So today, like you guys can see, we have our guests with us today, Paul. So Paul, do you just want to say hello to the room? Just do a little bit of introduction, and then we kick off.
Hi, hello all. My name is Paul. I'm a researcher for Kaicho Digital. I run Orisun Gallery in Abuja, one of the biggest galleries in the city, and I'm also a legislative aide. So that's a brief introduction about me. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So glad to have you here with us, Paul. So yes, let's jump right into it. I anticipate that today's discussion won't take too long. Usually these sessions are like, termed for an hour, but I just anticipate that we're not going to spend that long, right? I don't want to keep you here for too long. Neither do I want to keep our guests for too long. So we just jump straight into it, right? So the topic for today, ladies and gentlemen, is fast track your finances with multiple streams of income. Um, the reason why we picked this topic was so when I was searching for possible topics, right? um I kept on looking around, and the prevailing theme around finances globally was still inflation, right? And we've talked about inflation so much. We talked about how to invest during inflation. In fact, the last topic was how Rise is helping you, manage your investments during this downturn, which is caused by like inflation, among other factors. So I thought about it from a perspective where we could still address the situation of red hot inflation, but from a different perspective. And we know that one of the ways um, to hedge against inflation is also just to make more income, right? So that was one of the rationales for picking this topic. And also just the fact that to have in order to have a stable financial life, it's important, it's advisable to have multiple streams of income anyways. So it just made for a great topic. And then we reached out to Paul, um and I felt like Paul was a good, after speaking to him, I felt like he was a good guest, to contribute to this conversation, right? So when we talk about multiple streams of income, it's pretty much straightforward. You pretty much understand what that means when you hear multiple streams of income. It just means income coming in from more places than one, right? It means cash flow, having cash flow from more places than one. And it's always very important. If you read financial text, you're always advised to try to establish at least two streams of income, right? Um, and there are reasons for that, right? And I'll just give a few. The first one is obviously helps you make more money, and that's an obvious benefit because I mean, who doesn't want to have more money? Money is a tool that helps us achieve the life that we want and helps us get things out of life. So obviously, having more money, having more resources, allows for more flexibility. It allows for us to live a much more comfortable life. It allows for us to make better choices, and it just gives like a certain level of peace of mind when you have enough, basically. Um, Another reason is for the sake of job loss, right? So when you have multiple streams of income, for most people, um, the major source of income that we have is our active income. So this is our most times is our job or like the business that we run. That's really the major source of income. But then what happens when circumstances break off that stream of income? You don't want to have just one stream of income and then something happens and then all of a sudden you're stranded. A good example of this, something that many of us here would have witnessed, was when the pandemic hit in 2020, 2 years ago, right? Um, when lockdowns came on, the whole landscape changed, and people lost jobs, people were put out of employment, even people who ran businesses, because of the fact that especially businesses that were had to do with people actually coming outside. A lot
Mm.
of those people were stranded, and nobody saw anything like that coming, to be honest, at least not the average person, at least. So that caused a lot of trouble, and it caused a lot of instability in people's finances. So think about if you had more than one stream of income. Then so if you had a job and you were laid off, or you had a business and you just couldn't do business at that point because everyone was forced to be indoor because of this virus. If you had another stream of income, you would have something to latch onto, something that you can hone in on and focus on to still create that sort of balance for you. Another reason would be to reach our financial goals in quicker time, right? So for a lot of people, one of the longest term goals when it comes to saving and investing is to retire early, right? We want to, and retiring early doesn't always mean stopping work. It just means getting to the point where you have enough that you can now work because you want to work. You don't have to work because you solely want to earn an income.
Yeah.
Exactly. So imagine if you had a fire number. Um, just having multiple streams of income means that you can increase the rates that you're saving and investing, and then it pulls that goal a little bit earlier, um, than you would have if you had only one source of income. And then another reason is for diversification. Again, like I earlier mentioned, the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, it broke people's streams of income. So imagine if you had a diversified, stream of income, you'd be able to focus on something else. And diversification is one of the terms that is most important to like finance. When you talk about saving, when you talk about investing, it's all about not putting all your eggs in one basket. Just because life happens, right? There are unforeseen circumstances. So you want to be diversified. It's always good. It works for investing and it also works for income as well. Um, so Paul, the first question I'll throw to you is from your own perspective, and you when you did your introduction, you told us at least two things that you do. It
Yeah.
was actually three things that you do. So from your own perspective, what are the benefits of having multiple streams of income, multiple things that you do to earn an income?
I think when you were giving the definitions and trying to give reasons why multiple streams of income is important. You said something about having a safety net where if you lose one job, at least you have something to follow. An example will be for me, I had a personal experience in 2016. I was working with a multinational, or yeah, it's a company in the US that they had an office in Nigeria. And when there was a crunch during that time between 2016 and 2017, they packed up, like the contract ended because they were not getting business from the country, and I was stranded. I got stranded, and it was a difficult period for 3, 4 months where you work every day, you're earning good, then all of a sudden you are now eating from your savings and the savings is gone, and there's no there's no soft landing in sight. It gets you thinking a lot, And one of my mentors now mentioned and said, this is why back then he said this is why you need to have other streams of income, because if you depend on one job and the security is not so strong, you lose it. So I got several gigs with him. He was able to help me, but that helped, that defined why I needed to have more than one stream of income. Yeah. Um, and now it's good because online, the internet gives you access to a lot of information, a lot of things that you can actually do without actually breaking your back, for the loss of a better expression. I currently, I'm a legislative aide, but I, from experience, government, your salary comes sometimes a week into the next month or 2 weeks into the next month, and you know that, oh, you can't depend on this. You need something else. So I work with building Kaicho. Kaicho is a digital asset advisory. Yeah, I work research, and in my 9 to 5, I am a researcher. So I was like, why don't I just use the skill I know, this skill I have, and apply it here? And also, I have a huge affinity for art. Yeah. So when my boss was setting up this, I said, I would like to manage this. I'd like to run it. I was like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I have the passion. And I mean, I literally grew up in this city, so I have the contacts and know how to run around. So I can do this. And I always advise to have at least 3 streams of income. Why? Because one, I use one to take care of my bills, right? Yeah, it's not something you do automatically, it's something you grow into, but it's always advisable to have at least 3. One for savings, one to take care of your bills, and 2 to put for a rainy day. Investments, like investing, if there's something to do, you get quick bucks like turnover. Yeah, you can do it 6 months, 1 year. But it takes a lot of strain away from your income. You know that, okay, this takes care of my bills, so I have to work hard here. This takes care of my savings. Yeah, this takes care of my investment. It just helps you, as you said, diversify. Yeah, like my 9 to 5, I know that my 9 to 5, which is in the National Assembly, sorts my bills, because that's constant. I mean, you know that every month you get that, so I know, okay, this is constant. Then whatever I get from the gallery here, I use this as my savings. Then if they're on Kaicho research gigs, somebody calls me and say, hey, I need you to write this research for me, do this for me. I know that, okay, I am investing whatever I'm getting from here. So it puts a balance to whatever stream. So it goes beyond I'm earning from multiple sources. What are those earning? What are you applying them to? It's not about taking all the income or all the money and putting in one pot. You need to be able to diversify, as you said. Put here, this is what this goes for. This is what this goes for. Of course, as human beings, there are incidences you cannot anticipate. So you can borrow from Paul and pay Peter, but you know that it is not a constant thing. So that rainy day fund, sometimes your savings, you have to use that to replicate that. But at the end of the day, there's a balance to whatever the income is doing. So I just had to give a background to that and concur with what you were saying.
Thank you so much. Love that. Toby says you should connect him to the government house. So thank you so much for sharing that, Paul. So I'll say something first of all. I should have said this at the beginning of the call. Excuse me, guys. So this session is also interactive, right? So what that means is that there's a Q and A session here, section here on Zoom. So while Paul and I are having this conversation, um, you can also drop in questions, comments, or feedback on that Q and A section. And by the time we are done with this, we'll just move on to that section. So this is for like our audience. Then Paul, there are three things I picked out from what you just said now, and I would like to kind of just touch on them a little bit. The first thing you mentioned was that you had an emergency fund. I heard that because you said um when you lost that job in 2016, or was that 2017?
Yeah,
2016, right?
towards the
Yeah,
end of
2016. Yeah, you said you had to start eating from your savings,
yeah,
right? We always speak about emergency funds and why those are important. Those are important because life happens. There are circumstances that we just don't see coming. So it always makes sense to keep some money apart just for those things that we cannot see coming. Um, if something happens and you don't even have savings to, like, so when that happened and you didn't have like something to fall back on, what would you have done? So that means having an emergency fund is very important. The second thing that I want to highlight from what you said was when you talked about your work at the art gallery. You
yeah,
said this is something that you liked, and then because you knew that you were passionate about this, you decided to pursue it. So what that means is that you found a bridge between what you're passionate about and what also there's a market for, and
mm,
then you were able to put that together, and then you found that you were doing something that you love and you're still able to earn some income from it.
mm,
um the third thing that I picked from what you said was that you said it's not all about just earning multiple streams of income. It's what do you use it for? And I
yeah,
love the way you broke it down. You said your 9 to 5 sorts out your bills, and then whatever you get from the gallery is what you use to like build your portfolio. And I
yeah,
loved that because we always speak about how the proper ways to think about money is to think about it as a tool, right?
yeah,
So when
yeah,
money is coming in, what am I using this to do? What goals am I trying to achieve with this? How am I trying to make my life better? How am I trying to add value to my life with this, income that is coming in? I think that's a very, very brilliant point to note, because I realize that a lot of people just think about money as, a commodity that just should be spent. Um, yeah, which puts a lot of people, um, in trouble a lot of times. So yeah, let's move on. So next thing I'd like to speak about is the streams of income that are available. Um, and I want to start by distinguishing two different types of income, right? So we have active income and we
mhm,
have passive income. I
mhm,
think it's important that like we understand this. Active income is like your job, like a 9 to 5, right? So this is stuff that you actively do. You're actively trading your time, you're actively trading your skills, and you're getting compensated with salary, with wages, with any form of compensation that comes from you trading your time or skills for. And then there's passive income, right? So a popular source of passive income would be dividends that you get from investing in stocks, or rental income that you get from rental property. Now, passive income is passive because it doesn't require a lot of active work from your path. Um,
yes,
another example of passive income would be if I wrote a book and I published it. Um, the initial work will take time, right? So obviously the writing of the book will take time. But
yeah,
once I'm done with writing that book, I put it out there, right, Paul? And then I can still make income even while I'm sleeping, as long as
yes,
that book is available for someone to purchase and consume,
that, exactly.
right?
Um,
So
although it's always also important to identify those things, because I think over time what I've observed is there's a point at which your passion and your passive income they meet, where you know that you are doing this for fun. That you're not, as you said, not breaking your back, not doing much, but that passion, where passion and skill meet, that is where that's the juicy spot of passive income. You so if they call you now, maybe you're a writer, they call you that, hey, there's this article, maybe in a particular field, maybe medical field, and they call you, hey, please, can you write about how sickle cell affects the issues of sickle cell? I mean, it's what you enjoy doing. It's what you enjoy doing, writing about medical stuff. So you can just wake up one Saturday morning, have a cup of tea, and you just write it. As you write it, send. Sometimes maybe you're in a bad drink, you're doing something else, or you're at a wedding, then you get your alert and says, oh, for that article you wrote, this is the pay. That's passive income. I mean, you enjoy doing it, so it wasn't so much of a big deal for you. It's what you enjoy. So when somebody says, okay, write on this, you just pick up your pen, or you picked up your laptop and start typing. So that juicy spot between where your skill and passive income meets is a very important spot we have to identify.
Thank you for sharing that. I must also note, like, that's the tough part as well, because um a lot of times you also find that I'm passionate about doing something, but then there isn't really a market for me to actually turn that into like a sustainable income stream. So I like the way you describe that, like as juicy spots when
Yeah.
those two things connect together, right? So there's also this popular saying where millionaires have at least seven income streams on average. And I want to speak a little bit to that, right? So an author called Tom Corley did a 5-year study, um, on individuals that like were well off. So they were not all millionaires, but they were like high income earners, and people who were just, raking in money. And he also published this. So if we like reading, there's a book called Rich Habits that he published. He it talks about this particular topic, and then he found out that 65% of these people have at least three income streams. 45% had four income streams, and then 29% had five or more income streams. So of all the people that he studied for a period of 5 years, at least they had three income streams,
Mm.
right? So I want to mention some of the income streams that exist, right? So there are seven of them in general. The first is earned income. So this is our job. This is our regular 9 to 5. This is our business. These are the things that we do where we exchange our time. Um, Name an author of the book. Okay, Paul, that's Tom Curley. The book is called Rich Habits. So
Oh,
Curley is
see,
Corlew.
rich habits.
Yes, Rich Habits
Thanks. I'll pick it up today on my
by
way home.
Tom Curley. All right, great. So yeah, Rich Habits, yes, it's there in the chat section. Thank you so much. Curly, so it's Corlew. Yeah, so the first one is earned income. So this is things that we do in exchange for, we exchange our time, we exchange our skills, and then we earn some money. That's earned income. And then there's profits, so profits from business. So you create some value, and then you sell that value to a market, and then there's a markup for you which serves as your profits. Even trade, buying and selling falls within this point. So that's the second one. And then the third one is interest. Now, this one is a bit funny now because I don't think there's too many people that are actually now making any sustainable income from interest being paid by banks. But yes, it still falls as one of the streams of income. And then the fourth one is dividends. So dividends are the rewards, dividends are the payouts that you get from investing in a stock or shares of a company. Not all companies pay dividends, but did you just share with everyone or just host or panelist?
I don't know if the whole yeah, it's host and panelists. I can see.
Yeah, it's host and panelist. So you
Yeah.
should be able to see that.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, you should be able to see that. Is there for everyone there on the chat. So yes, not every company pays dividends, but some companies will pay you dividends on a quarterly basis. Some will pay you on an annual basis, as a reward for investing in that stock. And then the fifth one is capital gains. So again, back to stocks. For companies that do not pay dividends, a lot of the value that you get from investing in those companies is in the capital gains, capital appreciation. So what that means is that I bought an asset for 100 naira, and now the asset has appreciated to 50 naira. That's a capital appreciation. And then there's rental income. This is money from renting out properties, um you know properties basically. And then you have royalties. So if you're someone who's in the arts, if you're someone who publishes, or someone who makes music, or any type of creative work, you can license your work and get paid royalties when people consume that work, or when people distribute, or we share that work. um so those are the seven major income streams. So I'm going to type, because I see people asking for the name of this book that we just shared. um so I'm going to type it again. It's called Rich Habits by Tom Curley.
Mm.
So that's being shared now. You should be able to see that. Oh, my bad, my bad. All right, I think I know what's going on here. Yeah, I think I know what's going on here. All right. I'm sorry about that, guys. You should be able to see that now. So that's been shared to everyone. We were just sharing to ourselves, Paul.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
apology.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that, guys. But yeah, everyone should be able to see that now. Um, yes. So um, Paul, I think the last thing that we should speak about just before like jumping, because we're past like the half-hour mark. Let's
Mm.
talk about the tips to creating multiple streams of income. Now um I'll drop a little something, and then I'll switch to you so that you can help out as well. So I identify three basic tips, right? And I kind of like grouped them, right? So the first is increasing income through active streams of income. So what this really means is, for us, we owe it to ourselves to maximize our career, to maximize our jobs, um, to maximize the value that we bring to our 9 to 5s or our businesses. So what this really means is us constantly trying to add value to ourselves. So if I'm working a 9 to 5, um, it should be my goal to be able to learn more, pack up more experience, um, take on more skills. So probably take a course, um, probably go to school and learn something new, so that I can bring more value to the business place where I work in. Now, if I do that, I should be able to take advantage of every um, promotion opportunity there is, and that
Yeah.
will help me increase my income, right?
Yes.
So that's one of the first things that we do. So we always have to think about ways that we can add value to ourselves, so that in turn we can bring more value to the jobs that we do, to the business that, the services that we offer, so that we can also in turn get paid more, because income uh most times directly works with value. The more value you're able to bring to a certain market, the more that market would pay you for that value, right?
Exactly.
Um, and so examples of this, like I said, so it could also even be just getting a better paying job. It could be taking on a side hustle, a part-time job. It could be, starting on a full-fledged business on the side. It could also come in the sense of increasing the price that we charge for the exchange for our time and services. So if I'm a consultant, and people pay me for my time, people pay me for like what I, what I have in my head or my skills. um I can also start to increase the price that I charge for giving those services out, as I become more valuable, as I become more experienced, as I start to add more skills and more applied knowledge, right? So that's the first one, increasing income from our active work. The second one would be to increase income through our passive income streams. So we already earlier in this we described what passive income
Mm.
streams are.
Yeah.
So things like royalties, things like dividends, things like interest earned. People make money from things like affiliate marketing these days. People make money from I have like a certain knowledge base. I know certain things about such and such, and then what I go do is that I go document that knowledge. So I start a blog, I start writing about these things that I know. I start a YouTube channel, and I start doing videos about these things that I know. And then you find ways to monetize that. Like Paul earlier said in this call, the internet has presented us with opportunities to, one, to be able to learn things and consume information, but also it has also created avenues for us to be able to create value, put out things that people need, answer questions that people need, solve problems that people have, and then in turn you get rewarded for that. And then the third one would be to increase income from your portfolio income streams. So one of the great advantages of investing, investing in assets, buying assets, is that it produces passive income, right? So you think about stocks, you think about dividends. I mean, you think about rental income. When you invest in these assets, you get income that's doesn't necessarily require too much active work from your end. So also, it's also important to think about adding to your portfolio. What can I invest in, what can I add more capital into, so that the income that I'm pulling in keeps on increasing over time. So these are how I paired them, Paul. So in your own, from your own experience, from your own perspective, do you have any tips that you'd like to share? Maybe like on a practical level, maybe like something from your experience on how to increase income streams.
Thank you for that. You've the way you group them, the nomenclature is solid. Like you've captured everything. You've given us a broad scope of how you need to improve or get multiple streams of income. But I'll go on a practical level because um in the country we are, most of us, I believe most of us are in Nigeria, and we are already at a disadvantage. What I mean is, I'm not trying to discourage people, but right now, a lot of people would have joined this call, but some may not have internet, some may not have access to electricity. So that's a huge disadvantage. But um, I see young Nigerians, you and I, we're trying to turn that around, even though it's so difficult. But I mean, you can see young Nigerians trying to turn that around. To increase the internet, the world now is moving to a creative economy where whatever you do, you can make money from it. During the lockdown, I don't know if you remember this South African girl, Elsie, she was in Vogue recently. I can't remember. She's on Twitter. During the lockdown, she used to take these funny, weird pictures, create funny videos. During the lockdown, I think she's bald, like she doesn't have hair, dark South African lady, and somehow some American celebrities picked her up, and even Beyonce sent her that her stuff she did with was it Puma or Nike? Even sent her.
Yeah.
She went to the US. I think she was on Vogue recently, and she even made a tweet and said, "This thing I was just doing it out of boredom, but look at where it has gotten me to." Um, on a practical level, I love football. I'm a football fan. Yeah, I am an Arsenal fan on hiatus. I'm no longer an active Arsenal fan. But yeah, like I love the English Premier League, I love the Spanish League, I love the Italian League. Yeah. Um, you could create an income from that, right? What I mean is Substack took blogging and Substack democratized blogging. What I mean is, before, for you to be a blogger, you have to do this, do that. But Substack said, hey, you get your Gmail, open a Substack, and start blogging, right? On Friday before, or even the Saturday before the EPL starts, I'm writing about this week. Yeah. It's on your phone. You don't need to do much. Talk about what you think the week or the day, the Saturday, Super Saturday or Super Sunday will be. Usually there are big games, Arsenal, Man U, Tottenham, Chelsea. They are usually big games or derby matches. You can talk about it and drop a tip and say, hey, you believe that this team is going to win, right? You do it next week. You do it the next week. People people do sports betting. People play sports betting. Sports betting is it's a $1 billion economy. Somebody can say, okay, I'm taking this tip. With time, you have to be consistent though. That's what we talked about. The sweet spot between what you love and your skill meeting. That's the sweet spot. You do it over time. You'll be shocked that in say 3 months, 6 months, you are getting over 1,000 readers. And in the creative economy or in the creative sense, breaking that 1K barrier is usually, as YouTubers, people who have YouTube, getting that 1K view, getting 1,000 subscribers. Once you're able to break that, I mean, you're going, because you have 1,000 active subscribers every week. Yeah. So now you've taken what you love, football, sports, whatever sports, tennis, there are a lot of it. You're writing about it. You're doing it because you love it. You love the sports. You love to talk about teams, one. And now you're trying to earn income from that. You're dropping tips. Somebody just keep writing. Somebody who has a bigger platform say, hey, I saw this write-up, yeah, and that's how your stardom starts, right? It could be about drinks, different cocktails. It could be about juices in Nigeria, malts. You can just write about it, or you can make videos about it on your Instagram page. I think the bane when it comes to earning passively is consistency, because most times we attach quick results to what we are doing. But once you take out the result, it's just like I was listening to, and I believe a lot of us know who Seth Godin is. He's one of the brightest minds in the industry, Seth Godin. Listen to his podcast, read his books. He's one of the best. I was listening to a podcast last night, and he talked about not attaching your result immediately to whatever you are doing. Get a passion first. It's like saying you shot a movie, a director shoots a movie, and they invite them to a festival, the King's Festival. Yeah. The movie may be good, but they didn't invite you to that festival. Doesn't make that movie not to be good. But what does that mean? Next year, I want to get to the King's Festival. You do a better movie. You do a better one. You do a better one. You do a better until one day, the judges or whoever at the festival say, hey, this guy, we need him on our festival. It doesn't make the other bodies of work you did not to be good. It just means this was where you were recognized. And now that income starts. And you said something about royalties. Once you make that movie, you get royalties for life, right? It's for life, and you can be in your bed, but your bank account is swelling. So finding that sweet spot and getting it to attach to your skill, that spot where skill and passion meets, that's the sweet spot. Yeah, it could be. You could talk about. I've read a lot of blogs. I've read a lot of blogs. People talk about events like AMCVA. I can't remember where they give artists awards. People write about it. People talk about best dress, and I have a website where I follow actively. Like once this festival, I know that okay, I'm going to see the best dress. I'm going to see the worst dress. So things like that. You don't necessarily need to do something so elaborate, right? You could pick up your phone on a Saturday morning and talk about sickle cell. Yeah, just write about it. The next week you talk about something else. That consistency, it puts it at the fore. People see. People can say, okay, now, okay, a hospital or somebody who is doing an advocacy for sickle cell could call you and say, hey, you wrote about sickle cell a few days ago or some weeks ago or last year. We want you to come and talk about it. Yeah. What that does is you've now been put to the limelight. You called 3, 4 times on this. You now say, hey, I have a charge. I charge for my time. You say, okay, how much do you charge? Okay, I charge $500 for my time. Oh, $500, you negotiate, right? You are earning now passively. So these are practical things you can do. Somebody can say, yo, the World Cup starts in December. I want to start writing about it now, up until the World Cup. You'll be shocked. FIFA may call you and say, one blogger from Africa was writing about this since July up to we want to invite him. And that is where your punditry career could start. So it doesn't have to be so elaborate. It just has to be something that you're passionate about and putting it out there. Thanks to the internet.
Thank you so much for that, Paul. Thank you so much for that. Um, so I'm just trying to look at like the QA section here. There's not too many questions. In fact, there are no questions at all. So anonymous attendee here is at what stage in time will an invested money on the Rise Vest be added? Let's say if I start with I don't quite understand this question. You're anonymous. I don't quite understand this question, but what I will do is I will post so on the chat box there, I'm going to put the link to our Telegram. You can shoot some of your product questions there because we really don't try to like answer like product questions here. So you can just hit us up on the Telegram and we'll answer any questions that you have.
There's an interesting question here. Somebody posted
All right.
it earlier. I don't know. Christopher OC said, good day. Would you advise one to have his or her emergency fund in the Rise Vest wallet?
Okay, great. So yeah, that's another product question. So yeah, Christopher, yes, you can. But I will give you some more context to that. First of all, like an emergency fund is somewhere where you keep money that you obviously want to keep out for emergencies, right? So that means you have to keep it somewhere where it's easily accessible, right? So your Rise wallet, is somewhere where you can keep money. It will be earning interest that's paid on a monthly basis and it's accessible to you in 24 hours, right? So yes, technically it can serve as a sort of emergency fund for you, but you also need to think about that because first of all, it's in dollars, right? So as soon as, and if you're coming from naira to dollars, you're already losing some money just based on the exchange rates because you buy like the dollar higher than you would sell it. So you would buy for, like on rice today, you buy for 596 and then you sell it for 586, right? So you also need to have a little bit of time for you to earn interest that covers up for that difference. So yes, you can use it for some sort of emergencies. I use mine for some sort of emergencies, but I also have a Naira. I also have places where I keep Naira, which I can like get quicker than 24 hours, because the reason why it takes 24 hours that it obviously has to come from like USD and then go through some security processes that we have to like every withdrawal on Rise goes through like certain level of security checks. So imagine if you need like Naira, if you need some money in next 30 minutes or like 1 hour, 2 hours, Rise won't be able to do that for you. So you need to have some Naira first, and then that could be like a second level type emergency for you, something much more long term. But please do keep some money in Naira that you can, you just make a withdrawal and they send it bank to bank, right? So yeah. Some questions that do come in. So someone asked what are the best ways to monetize podcasts? Paul, do you have any insights about this?
Yeah. So monetizing your podcast. You've been consistent, say 6 months. right? You've been talking about stuff, pushing it out on social media, trying to get people to retweet, send the links to WhatsApp, and all that. I think one of the ways I would say is you talk about you go meet a brand, you send an email or you go in person, go meet a brand and says, hey, this is my podcast, this is what I want to do. As part of as part of your marketing plan, would you love to have me talk about it on my podcast? Brands do it. Brands are open to it, and it's something that is becoming it's becoming mainstream now. Yeah, brands sponsor podcasts. Somebody like this biggest Joe Rogan. Yeah, I mean that's his life now. Till Spotify had to even sign him a whole deal, and he was just doing this thing from out of passion. So first of all, people have to see that consistency. Nobody's going to put his money on your podcast when there's no consistency. I want to know that every month, if it's monthly, if it's weekly, I want to see that consistency. Then I say, oh, okay, there is a backlog. There's something I can refer to and say, okay, this person has been consistent. Okay, let me give him a try. Let me give him a shot here. So those are one of the ways, and more ways you can do that is be unapologetic about putting your work out because it's a source of income. So be
Promote
unapologetic.
yourself.
It's not illegal. So
Yeah,
might as well just put it out there, man. The highest you say people scroll past.
yeah.
That's the highest. They won't even tell you no. And you tell you no, that's their business. So be unapologetic about it. Put yourself
Mm.
or your work out there.
Great response to that. And I'll just add to that, right? So, um, you spoke pretty extensively about the creator economy, right? So, the internet, because of the way we use the internet in this generation, right? We we share lots, right? Internet has empowered sharing. We share a lot, so we people are constantly looking for information. People are constantly sharing information with each other, sharing opinions with each other, right? So if you are creating a podcast, you're creating content. It's on a fundamental level, you're no different from someone who's creating videos on YouTube, creating vlogs on YouTube. You're no different from someone who's blogging. You're no different from someone who's writing like a newsletter that people can subscribe to. So a lot of the value that content creation brings is that when you create useful content, what happens is that you get people to now start following you. So I would have listened to your content the first time. If it's valuable to me, I might subscribe. I might follow you on Twitter just because I want to hear what you give me the next time. I want some more value. So when you do that over time, and Paul mentioned consistency, when you do that over time, you attract more people, and then you start to have a follower, like a followership. You start to have, um, viewers, you start to have listeners, you start to have subscribers, and all of these things. That is what you leverage on to monetize your content. So Paul mentioned one, which is, I think that's sponsorship, right? So that's when you reach out to a brand and say, hey, you know what? I have a bunch of followers and I think they would be interested in your brand. I think they'll be interested in your products, your services. Now, I need to get you to connect to this brand, to these followers, to these people who are also like your potential markets. And then you find out that you're being sponsored, right? So that's one source of income. There's also, premium content where it's like, some stuff is free and then you charge some people, for some type of content. There's also ads. So depending on the platform where you're hosting this podcast, where you're, creating your content, um, you can also make money from ads. That's one of the ways that bloggers make money. They're also like affiliates. There's things that you can do and just research. I would say whatever you want to do, just start off. And the internet is a very powerful place. Listen, you can just literally go on Google and type, how do I monetize my podcast? And you see ideas, right? You see ideas. The important thing is really execution, because ideas are everywhere, information is free. If you ask me a question, I can literally just Google it now and tell it to you, right? But what's important is, what am I practicing? Am I, because you need to learn things, put them into practice, fail, and then try again, iterate, right? Now, the part of failing and trying again, iterating, that's the part that you can't get online. right? That's experience. That's you have done something and you have learned lessons from actually doing it. You can't get that online. Somebody can tell you that, but there are certain things that you will learn while doing it that you can't get online. So I think
Experience is the best teacher.
exactly. The man who said that was in line. He knows what he was talking about.
Also,
Um,
I think we're sometimes fixated on podcasts. We as people, when something is in vogue, we're sometimes fixated on that, like podcasts on Spotify or Twitter. You can open spaces every week and talk about the
yes,
subject you love.
yes.
I know a friend, Jack. He's a huge football guy. He used to do this banter that a lot of people used to retweet. He's a very good friend of mine, and now he has spaces that Budweiser sponsors. Twitter Spaces. I mean, so it must not necessarily be a Spotify podcast. It could be a Twitter Space, and that consistency and execution, that is where the real meat of the matter is. So be be you're doing what is in vogue, but at the same time you're unique. People come and say, okay, this is unique. I want to be here. And attention. The internet, because of how so fast we absorb internet has made information out there. You need to do things that actually captures attention, because everybody is hustling. Everybody's doing something. As creators, everybody's doing something to capture attention. You see followers, it's attention. You see viewership, it's attention. You see likes, it's attention. And if you are not able to capture that, you're not doing something unique, or you're doing something that everybody has out there. You know.
Thank you so much, Paul. So we're 5 minutes to 3 p.m. And I'd like us to end on time. So I'll just answer some questions here that I can see real quickly. Chukun also is asking if you can buy and sell stock on the Rise app as prices fluctuate. So you have to understand, and I just dropped the website there. So please do yourself some due diligence, go on there, read about the business model, because yes, you can invest in stocks but on Rise, but you can't directly buy individual stocks. So Rise is an asset manager. So what that means is Rise manages your investing process for you, as opposed to just giving you access to the marketplace, right? So just try to like understand the difference. You can literally just go on the website, read about the products, and then please join our Telegram. That's where we can like help you out, with these type of questions more extensively. I'm going to post that link one more time on the chat so everyone can see. um Colette is asking, what's a better option for investing, the Rise wallet or the Rise plan? Listen, I personally have both money. I have money in both of them, right? It depends on what you want to use them for. The Rise wallet serves more as a dollar dom account. It's not a dollar dom account, but it serves similar to that, right? And then the plans are actually you investing in certain asset classes for a specified period of time, right? So the difference is the returns that you get, right? So on the wallet you get 8% dollar returns per annum. On the least paying plan on Rise Vest, which is the fixed income plan, you get 10% guaranteed USD returns. And so it all depends on your own personal finance, right? If once you start to understand the products, you would understand how you are using them and what you're using them for. Listen, it's one product, but people use them in different ways, right? So just try to understand a little bit about that. um and then I see a good question here. How do you balance having multiple streams of income with a tasking 9 to 5, considering the amount of work that has to be put in at early stages of building a passive income? Paul, I'll let you take this one and then we'll call it a wrap.
Yeah. That's where the hard work comes in. Um, I think how I hacked it, or how I hacked it. I'll use the word. How I hacked it was I reserved a certain number of hours, 2 hours max, for that, for my passive, for my passive income. Yeah, I reserved 2 hours. So it was a case of when I get home after work. Yeah, I put in that 2 hours. some you don't necessarily have to be, you don't necessarily have to do it every day, but that consistency, that 2 hours you put, sometimes you may not even get, you do up to the 2 hours, but you're there, you came, you showed up, you know. So I tell myself that, you know what, if you get back home and you don't tidy up early and relax and get into this, if it's 12 midnight, you have to do it till 2 a.m. You know, so it creates that mindset that after work, you know, you have something else you're going to do, and it's on the internet. I'm not going to a physical place, so I can do that. And even if you want to upgrade your skill now, you can, there are self-paced courses, there are self-paced degrees, there's self-paced everything, because they know that time is of the essence. People who create these products, people who create these courses, they are aware that people have their 9 to 5, and it is how, when they will, some people do it only on the weekend, you know. Some people do it only on the weekend. Like my Saturdays is for me. Yeah. Right now, I'm currently in the gallery. Yeah. Currently in the gallery. So I know that whatever happens throughout the week, today, Saturday, I have to sort out everything that's happening in the gallery. Yeah. The gallery closes by on Mondays. So I know that okay, on Monday too, after work, I can come here and do stuff. So you have to reserve time. Time management is very important. You do a 9 to 5. Sometimes 9 to 5 stretches to 9 to 8, but you know that okay, you're giving yourself 1 hour when you get home to do this. It's a lot of work, but I mean, like the saying goes, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. If you think not getting multiple stream of income is too tasking, then try not having some. You know the difference. So that's where the work is. You have to reserve time to actually, and also it's a form of self development or personal development, you know, because you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for yourself. So yeah, reserve a certain number of, it could be 30 minutes. Some people do it 30 minutes, some people do it 1 hour, some people do it 2 hours. I personally do 2 hours, and I know that Saturdays is for me. From morning after I go to the gym or work out till say 5, 6. Yeah, I know it's for me. I'm putting in that work. I'm doing the things I need to do that I've not done during the week on Saturdays. When I get home, yeah, I give myself that 2 hours. I'm not consistent. Personally, I'm not consistent, but I know that at least I try to get 3 times in a week, you know. So that's where the hard work is.
Thank you so much, Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, we're past 3 p.m. And we need to shut down now so we can all get back to our weekends and Paul can get back to what he's up to. So at this point, I want to say thank you very much. Paul, special thank you to you for taking out time to just come and speak to us.
Thank
Um,
you.
from the first time I reached out to you, you were very responsive, very keen on doing this, and I appreciate that. Rise appreciates that as well. So thank you for doing this. For everyone who showed up, thank you for showing up. This is the essence of community, so that we can learn together, we can share resources together, have conversations, and just push ourselves so that we can grow. And again, if you have so exactly, I was about to ask you for that. I'll give you some time to also do more of that. But yes, this was brought to you by Rise Vest, ladies and gentlemen, an asset manager that helps you grow your money in USD. You want to check out our website www.risevest.com, read about the product, engage in the product, and utilize it, to your financial advantage. I'm also going to post our Telegram group one more time here. This is the online community where we have, conversations. So for the questions that we couldn't answer on here, please come on there and ask. Come on there and share things with us. We're constantly just like having conversations, trying to have conversations that help each other. So please do that. Yeah, Paul, do you want to promote anything? Do you want to share anything? I saw you posted your Twitter there. Is there anything
Yeah,
you want to just
that's
share
that's
with?
enough. That's enough.
That's
The
enough.
question I want to
Okay.
ask, Rise Vest on Telegram, just Rise Vest. I want to be sure I'm joining the right one.
Yeah,
Okay,
Rise Investment Club.
okay,
So the
Rise.
link, yeah, so you will see the link there on
Okay,
yeah. I'd
great.
also even share. I also share. We have another community that we're building out slowly, just because Telegram has some, limitations when you're trying to build out a
Restrictions. Yes.
community. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yes.
share that with you on Twitter. Don't worry about that.
No problem.
Um, Thank you so much, ladies and
Thank you
gentlemen.
guys for listening to me. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Cheers, guys.
It's a
Enjoy the rest
pleasure.
of your weekend.
You
Bye,
too.
Paul. Bye,
Cheers.
guys.